everybody this morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're now in the hands of Ms. Lisa Lambert.
This is the meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, April 16th. We have approval of minutes from April the 9th.
Any issues, anyone? Okay.
Appeals, we have a request for a waiver of the noise ordinance on May the 3rd from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. on Moffett Road. April the 20th from 6 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. on Ziegler Boulevard.
We can ask them about the 6 a.m. business. That's a little early for amplified noise. It may be that that's just when they're setting up. That's what I find a lot of time. As long as they don't turn up the amplified noise until at least 8 o'clock, 8:30.
You just want to just go ahead and just set the
That's
time?
NAMI, that's the walk. That's the walk for NAMI.
Yeah.
Let's just make it 8:30. Because I've talked to people like that before. That's just when they start setting up.
Okay. Public hearings. Today is a public hearing to consider a conditional use permit for property located at 5032 Government Boulevard.
Mr. President,
Ms. Reynolds?
I expect there will be quite a few folks that show up to speak on this item. And I've carefully considered this item. I followed it through the Planning Commission. And we passed some laws in the UDC there where we set sort of reasonable standards in place for home-based daycares. And this is asking to go beyond that. So we currently cap home-based daycares at 5 children. And this property owner has certainly shown that she is a great operator of a home-based daycare and may very well excel with even having more. But these approvals go on forever, much beyond the current operator. And, I don't think it's in the best interest of protecting this neighborhood going forward. So, I'm certainly curious to hear what they have to say, but as it stands right now, I don't see how we could or should, if the neighborhood is if we're trying to keep them in the best interest of going forward, how we could approve this.
Okay.
And this is just the public hearing today.
All right. Anything else? Josh, you good? And then
There's one opposed. As far as how we followed up, I did oppose it on Planning Commission level. Just kind of to Mr. Reynolds' point, the sticking point or the thing that we have to consider, this overwhelmingly seems like she is a good operator based on the public feedback that we've received. But really the thing about it is this conditional use, like Mr. Reynolds says, I mean, it does, it's all the way forward, carries forward from owner to owner to owner. So that's just something to consider, especially given the character of the neighborhood. And, we're not trying to make decisions about what's good for today, but we really do need to think about what's good for today and good for tomorrow. So that's just my comment.
okay. All right, Madam Clerk.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. John Robb, comments about the Mobile Tree Commission's lack of action. Carrie Coates providing information about a Unity Weekend event in Lions Park. Sabrina Matt.
Mr. President,
Sure.
I'm sorry, Ms. Clerk. Mr. Robb, this is probably the second or third time I guess he's came down. And I think one of the things that he needed, if I recall correctly, was trying to locate where all the trees were pulled. Was that, you have that? Okay. Sounds great. That was all my questions. Thank you.
Sabrina Mass regarding comments about abuse of power, police chief being placed on administrative leave and calling for the public safety director to remove citizens during the meetings. Reggie Hill, zoning and community development, public safety, civic center, and council rules. Ordinances held over. 64024, rezone property located at 255, 257, and 259 Dogwood Drive from R1 to B1.
Mr. President,
Mr. Davis.
I admit to some confusion where we are on 24, 26, and 27. And I contacted Ms. Gaucher, and she said that on 24, it should be tabled
Mhm.
And on 26, we vote to either approve or deny. And on 27, it should be tabled.
Okay.
Just to make sure I understand, 64027, is that somewhere else on here? Or will that reappear upon the conclusion of the public hearing?
There was an error in the advertisement. The date was published wrong. Was that correct, Lena?
So we're basically starting over on that one too?
Correct.
was called for a public hearing last week.
Okay.
The advertisement itself was incorrect.
All right. Resolutions held over. 01319, authorized agreement with Alabama Department of Transportation for traffic plan for special events at the University of South Alabama. 08320, approved purchase order to Image Trend for annual renewal of software for Mobile Fire Rescue. 21330, authorized contract with Dory's Inc., doing business as Azalea City Golf Course Grill. 37332, consider the application of Sonia Jordan to operate a shuttle service. Ordinances being introduced, 64028, consider a conditional use permit for property located at 5032 Government Boulevard. Consent resolutions being introduced, 31338, authorize the mayor to apply, accept, and receive a grant to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency for the fiscal year 2024 State Homeland Security Grant Program, $142,523, no local match. 31339, authorize the mayor to apply, accept, and receive a grant to the Community Foundation of South Alabama in support of parks and recreations, after school and summer programs, $20,000, no local match. 58340, assess cost for removal of weeds, repeat weed lien group, 1650. 6341, approve award of special bonus to firefighter of the month. 60, 342, 343, 344, and 356 are determined appropriations to Ariel Holloway Elementary School, Just for Development Laboratory School, Forest Hill Elementary School, and Prince of Peace Parish, Mobile, serve a public purpose and approve payment. CIP resolutions being introduced, 08345, approved purchase order to Musico Sports Lighting for lighting equipment for Copeland Cox Tennis Center, $548,000. Resolutions being introduced, 01346, authorized agreement and warranty deed with Alabama Department of Transportation for I-10 Mobile River Bridge and Bayway Corridor Preservation Project.
Mr. President,
Mr. Reynolds.
I couldn't understand this one. It's my understanding that we're giving them land and then we're going to lease it back to them. Why is that the case? I don't understand why that would be the case.
So that's just confusing to everybody.
Right, I just want to understand.
Oh yeah. It's so in order for the state to partner with the federal entity, they have to have control over it. That is part of what happens when you're dealing with the funding. So anytime they have a federal project, anytime the state is working in conjunction with the bids on a federal project, they require that you have not only control but the ability to terminate the lease based on cause, because they cannot have a federal project that's involving state funds be held up by a private or a local entity. I mean, and it's part of the regulations. I mean, it's a requirement, and we had to negotiate that substantially. Got it as strong as we could, but ultimately it's a federal requirement that they have control over. That's why.
Why would we want to lease it back? I guess.
Say that because we need it for, okay, one thing is the state needs the land for the project itself. The reason that we need the lease part of it is because the city also needs part of it for the cruise terminal. So we need to be able to have that spacing to be able to use it. That's why. So it's two for one, we need it for operations. Two, they need it for infrastructure. And this is the mechanism that we came up with.
And after 10 years, we're going to pay market rate
This is right.
to the state.
That's true. That's correct.
All right, thank you.
01347, authorize agreement with Timmons Group for GIS Web Management Services. 07348, consent to and approve the issuance of bonds by Infirmary Health System Special Care Facilities Financing Authority. 08349, approve item-based bid for truck and van accessories. 08350, approve purchase order to Howard Industries for Operations Center Video Wall for MPD, $299,197.28. 08351, approve purchase order to Just Foyer for annual renewal of public records management software, $21,531.84. 08352, approve purchase order to Sansum Equipment for 3 automated side load garbage trucks, $1,214,316.18.
Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Woods.
I know that we've been, I guess at least the last 2 or 3 council meetings, on the agenda, we fixed, whether it's arms or something like that. Well, these trucks will get us back up to speed per se. I guess as far as how many we need and are we able to keep up with capacity, I guess?
So I think it's a two-part problem. So these 3 are what we need, approximately 5 to 7 a year to catch up to make the fleet, new enough that we're not going to be having problems. Until we get to that point, we're still having arm problems on the older, trucks that we still have. So this isn't going to completely solve it, but every time we get 3 new ones, we're not going to have arm problems on those. So it's a combination that we're working both.
Gotcha. And then, just for clarification, these aren't the electric garbage trucks?
No, sir. These are just standard side loaders.
Right. And how's the electric truck doing? We still have it in use and all, I guess?
So we do. It's in use. It's actually not in use this week. We are getting as part of the contract, purchasing the truck. They promised to give us the Gen 2 batteries that have more capacity. Once they come in, they have come in last week, and this week the vehicle is up at MAC getting those replaced. So it'll give us probably 40 more extra miles on a route, which is a big deal for us.
Nice. Thank you.
Mr. President, hey, Mark, while you're here, these trucks are still just used on the same routes they were using. These are not to go into the newly annexed areas. We're still using.
That's right. Those are still for the. These are still for the pre-annexed city.
Okay.
And so
We haven't really heard any updates on the annexed area and how, or areas and how the garbage and trash collection is going. I haven't heard any negative comments, so just curious as to where we are on all of that.
So we're actually doing polling with the new citizens, and so we should be able to give you that data pretty soon. But we do hear that the trash pickup has been widely popular, and actually was a little bit overwhelming because it looks like everybody cleaned out their attics and garages when they got it. So.
Well, yeah, I don't blame them. And also we've got lighting surveys going on and that kind of thing too, because I know at least in one of my neighborhoods, there were no street lights. And so I know we've been working on that. And I would like to be able to tell people, where we are and when they can expect maybe some street lights to actually appear.
I'll have to follow up. I think traffic engineering was looking at that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know we've been looking at it and there's been some back and forth with Alabama Power. So if we could just get an update, that'd be great.
Sure. As soon as we get the polling results, we'll share that with you.
Okay, thanks.
08353, approved purchase order to SHI International for network switches and power supplies for network management software for MIT, $23,804.66. 08354, approved purchase order to Cyrus Ford for 3 Ford F-150 pickup trucks, $121,083. Call for public hearings, 41355. Call for public hearing to consider modification of a previously approved PUD for property located at 145, 151, 176, 195, 350, and 400 Dunlap Drive, scheduled May 21st. Announcements.
Council? Anything from administration?
Mr. President, at this time, I believe it'd be proper for you to entertain from one of the council members or yourself a motion to go into executive session. The grounds for that would be under the executive session statute 36-25A-7, 1A1, discussing the general reputation and character of a merit system employee, professional competence and job performance, as well as A3, legal ramifications and options for pending litigation and controversies not yet being litigated, but imminently likely to, or imminently likely if the governmental body, i.e. this council, pursues a proposed course of action. My name is Michael Linder. I am an attorney licensed to practice law now in the state of Alabama, and I certify that this exception does apply to the topic of this executive session. And so at this time, if there's a motion and a recorded vote, I believe that would be in order.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
President Small,
Yes.
Vice President Gregory,
Yes.
Councilmember Penn, Councilmember Carroll, Councilmember Reynolds, Councilmember Daves,
Yes.
Councilmember Woods.
All right, we see y'all at 10:30.